The Bunker Game, new horror film out in theaters. Very little marketing. In fact, I wasn't even able to find an official English language poster online, so I had to use the Polish one. And that should have been the first sign of the quality of the film, which is atrocious. The film starts with explaining to us the idea of what a LARP is. LARP, live action role playing game, means people who go with their friends to the woods, for example, to dress like wizards and knights and pretend to have adventures for a few days at a time. Then we are introduced to the people taking place in one such LARP. This one is set in an old World War II era bunker in Italy. The players pretend that they are remnants of Nazi Germany locked in the bunker to survive the nuclear war. It's sort of an alternate history scenario, and rebuild the Reich afterwards. The LARP is cut short when power goes out suddenly, and that means no light and no air circulation, so the organizers quickly begin to evacuate the players. And surprisingly, the doors are open and everyone is free to leave safely. End of movie, right? I wish. The organizers decide to go back inside to clean up, figure out what went wrong with the power, and also to find one of them who suddenly goes missing, but not before he promised all of them a grand finale. So they all begin suspecting some kind of a prank, maybe he's hiding out somewhere, maybe he's doing... But of course, it gets more sinister as apparently supernatural forces are also involved. So, alright, this was a pretty long and convoluted setup, and the film actually becomes even more complicated as time goes on. And it's amazing that all of this story serves absolutely nothing. There are multiple plot elements which end up just going nowhere, complete dead ends. The film also can't decide if it wants to be a supernatural horror with ghosts or a murder mystery with people just killing one another. And in that indecision, it completely flakes both aspects. Because none of them end up making any sense. When you examine the story after it ends, it's just nonsensical and pointless. In fact, the first on-screen death is just a random accident, literally. It's just very weird, especially as the movie spends a lot of time doing seemingly nothing, and so you're waiting, there's all this build-up, things will eventually start to go wrong, and then finally something happens, there's that death, and it's not even something that would push the story forward, it's just something completely random. And the pacing, by the way, is horrible through and through. It's a film that goes for only 95 minutes, but it feels like 4 hours. Long stretches of time where nothing happens, and worse still, you can't even see that nothing because the movie is super dark. I mean, 90% of the time, it's just a black screen and you can't make out what's going on. And sure, it takes place in a bunker, in a literal bunker, I get it. But at the same time, come on man, it's a film. You have to figure out a way for me to see what's going on. The acting is average, the characters paper thin, set pieces boring, and there's really not much else to say, I guess. The whole movie is boring as shit and not scary at all. So even if you're a starving fan of horror, stay away from this one because it is not worth your time.